Hey guys, Kyle here, and I've been receiving a few requests to make a video about Emily Armstrong and Linkin Park. So let's listen to Heavy is the Crown. Now, if you're new here, I'm a voice teacher, I'm a vocal coach. I'm originally from Brazil, but I live in Canada now. I'm also a professional singer, I'm a songwriter. You can check out my original music here. And I've been talking to a few students about Emily Armstrong. It's not the first time that I listen to this song. It's not a first time react. So, yeah, I kind of know what to expect here, but I haven't analyzed this that much. Well, anyway, without further ado, let's listen to the song. Let's see what we can take out of it. All right? Okay.
It's not every day you get to release a new song. I don't know how many hours we've given you to learn it. But did you learn it? It's called Heavy is the Crown. On the floor again, we're not getting door in, we both know how to slow.
Right. First thing that I need to point out here is that when you listen to Mike, we already have some vocal distortion here. So sometimes we get so used to the idea of having per se lead vocalist for Linkin Park being Chester and now Emily, making all those distorted sounds, but we do have some rasp here on Mike's voice. So if we listen to this again, even though he's rapping, and one might say, oh yeah, this is the rap part of the song, we already have some vocal distortion.
It's pouring in, you're laid on the floor again, we're not getting door in, we both know how to.
It is mild. This would be it is mild. It is kind of he's going for a softer tone with a bit of breathiness. Hey, hey, oh yeah, oh yeah. But as he's trying to increase the volume, increase the strength, and activating more the muscles, we have this but it doesn't happen all the time. That's the thing. It is mild. So we can hear that in a few moments, but it is mild, so far at least.
You can't win if your white flag's out, the war begins. Aiming so high, but swinging so low, trying to catch fire, feeling so
trying to catch. So we do have a bit of that. And again, it comes with that breathiness, that hiss.
So cold, hold it inside, I hope it won't show. Saying it's not, but it's what I know. Today's gonna be the day.
Okay, and now we have the harmonies, and when she enters, well, she's also going for a soft tone, but he was singing with his vocal folds active, so we had a bit more compression there, and now he's also singing softer. Today, we have this quality here. So his vocal folds now are seeking something, well, he's now seeking something passive. We would say that his vocal folds are now passive. So we don't have as much of a closure as we would have before. Notice.
Cause I'm tired of explaining what the joke is. This is what you want.
Well, this is not easy. Again, we have some distortion. She was singing soft. She was singing higher, but aiming a similar tone to the one he was using. But now we have something different here.
Won't show, saying it's not, but it's what I know. Today's gonna be the day you notice. So high, but swinging so low, trying to catch fire, feeling so cold, hold it inside, I hope it won't show. Saying it's not, but it's what I know. Today's gonna be the day you notice.
No. Passive vocal folds.
Cause I'm tired of explaining what the joke is. This is what
you. And now we have vocal distortions here. Now we have, it's not as mild. We have more crackling here per se. So this is a glottic distortion, or mostly or predominantly a glottic distortion. We have three big families of vocal distortions. We have the glottic distortions, that are the ones that happen at the level of the vocal folds. We have the supraglottic distortions that happen above the vocal folds, and we have the mixed distortions that combine both glottic distortions and supraglottic distortions happening at the same time. So when we have a glottic distortion, we have most of that crackling happening because we had the arytenoid cartilages hitting each other, and that's what we hear here. And besides that, we have the vocal folds in a level of contraction, level of tension that's not even completely active, so we don't have that complete closure, but we also don't have the vocal folds to loose, in a way that part of the vocal folds will vibrate perfectly, closing, and part of the vocal folds, specifically between the medium third of the vocal folds and the posterior third of the vocal folds, allowing some breathiness to escape. So we have that hiss, that, but we also have that at the same time. And that's what we can hear here. A supraglottic distortion would be something like, as you can hear, it's not that the sound is softer, but you can hear that the things that are making the distortion, the things that are hitting to make the distortion, for this case we have vestibular folds, maybe a bit of corniculate cartilages, they are not as hard as the arytenoid cartilages that are making the distortion here.
This is what you asked for,
heavy! We have that strong structure hitting to make the crackling, but we also have some breathiness escaping to make that hiss happen as well. Sometimes we have even more breathiness.
be the day you notice, 'cause I'm tired of explaining what the joke is. This is what you asked for, heavy is the crowd, fire in.
Sometimes we have even more breathiness, more hiss. For instance, when she does this fire. So if we go for something, let's say active, and then we try to go from there to something like completely breathy. We have that breathiness happening, and that's important for this kind of distortion. That brings the distortion, for this case, we would call this distortion a snore phaser. Sometimes we have the corniculate cartilage appearing a bit more. If that's the case, we would say snore phaser rubbing. Whenever we have the corniculate cartilages appearing in the distortion, we would use the name rubbing as part of the name of the distortion. So we have that happen here. Whenever we have that much breathiness in the distortion, we are getting closer to what we would normally call a scream. And yeah, for some moments we definitely have that screamish sound here. Oh, also something that I would like to point out is that at the end of some phrases, we have a stronger tone. So her vocal folds are becoming now active, and we don't have the distortion anymore. So we do have those technique changes there. More breathiness, and then a clean sound. Now we have the opposite. We have a strong tone, we have firmness, we have the vocal folds closing, and then at the end we have that crackling of the arytenoid cartilages plus less level of muscle mass in the vocalis muscle, less firmness, so that we have the escape of that air that hiss.
Try to hold it in, but it keeps bleeding out. This is what you asked for.
And then we have, at some moments, a distortion with more crackling, sometimes a distortion with more sibilance. And that's what we have exactly here.
This is what you asked for. Heavy is the.
Heavy is the. This is what you ask.
Heavy is the crowd.
Nice.
Turn and run, now look what it's become. Outnumber 10 to 1. Back then, should've bit your tongue, 'cause there's no.
In more rap part with Mike Shinoda.
To the back, this path once it's begun. You're already on that list.
Harmonies there, no, that's great. That's great. This is a fantastic song, guys.
Don't want what you can't resist. Wearing that sword when the pen won't miss. Watch it all falling apart like this. This is what you asked for. Heavy is the crowd.
Also, I love those parts when he's not yet done with his part, but she enters. So we have kind of a harmony, but it's not as they were singing the same part. They are singing different parts.
Apart like this is what.
Yeah, like this, and then she's this is. So kind of this is at the same time, but you hear as two different sections of the song.
When the pen won't miss, watch it all falling apart like this. This is what you asked for. Heavy is the crowd.
And again we have that distortion. Heavy! Heavy is the crowd!
Fire in the sunrise, ashes raining down. Try to hold it in, but it keeps.
Well, her vocal folds were definitely active there, and that's pretty high. This is a D5.
Keeps bleeding out. This is what you asked for. Heavy is the.
Heavy! We have clean, active, and then distortion. Heavy is the! Heavy is the! Fantastic.
Heavy is the crowd.
Heavy is the crowd! Again, playing with the presence of his sibilance. By the way, guys, do you guys prefer the distortion with more crackling, more like yay, or with more sibilance, more hiss? Yay! What do you prefer? Write it down in the comments.
Today's gonna be the day you know.
Passive vocal folds. Today's gonna be the day. This is soft. Yeah, you guys can imagine what's coming next.
Cause I'm tired of explaining what the joke is. This is what you asked for.
I don't even know if I can let in the video the whole thing, but she's doing a pretty huge scream here.
Day you notice, cause I'm tired of explaining what the joke is. This is what you asked for.
So she's doing something like.
Today's gonna be the day you notice, cause I'm tired of explaining what the joke is. This is what you asked for.
Okay, so we have that distortion with some crackling, some wheezing, but now we have way more wheezing. That's what makes this so heavy when it comes to the sound. But at the same time, if you think of the physiology behind it, then it's not as strong. You don't have so much a compression. You have that, but then you have more wheezing. So you kind of let go. It's great, it's great. By the way, if you are interested in this kind of vocals and you are just starting, one great exercise that I would recommend is something that we call Jaguar or Jaguar ounce cry. So you start by thinking really, really high and quiet in volume, going for a cat sound, something like. It's really firm, you don't have a lot of volume, it's as quiet as you can. Then you want to keep that sound firm. You don't want a lot of volume for it. And you try to add breathiness. You keep that firmness, you keep the quiet tone, and you try to add breathiness. You keep aiming high. And really, that's a great way to start practicing screams like this, because you allow that breathiness, that hiss, that sibilance to happen, but at the same time, you have that firmness that later on will lead you to more crackling in the sound to make the distortion heavier. So go for it. And if you guys want, I can make more videos on stream vocals, streams, distortions later on. Alright, let me know if you want that down in the comments. And she's still there. As I said, guys, this scream is too long. I don't want to have problems with copyright, so I won't let the whole thing here. But definitely, if you haven't, check the whole video out. It's fantastic. The song is amazing. And I decided to use, again, this is not a first time react. I know the song. I heard it before. I'm making it clear to you. So knowing what to expect, I picked the live performance because it is fantastic. Sometimes I would rather react to the studio version because we have the real intentions of the singer, and sometimes what happens live is what's possible, what's practical. But I'd say now that this is as good as the studio version, so definitely check it out. Both the studio version and the live version, because again, the song is fantastic. They are doing a great job here, all the band, and of course, what can we say about this scream? It's fantastic. And she's still there.
This is what you asked for. Heavy is the crowd. Fire in the sunrise. Ashes raining down. Try to hold it in, but
I don't know the words, but this is really, really good. And I would say, of course, you guys know Dream On by Aerosmith. I feel like when you sing the whole thing, this is kind of similar to Dream On. Usually people think that the hardest thing to sing when they're singing Dream On is that high part, Dream On! But in reality, when you sing the whole thing and you know the correct technique, you realize that the hardest part is to sing the main chorus after the high part. And I think that this is kind of the same thing. The scream, of course, the scream is difficult, but I would say that one of the biggest challenges here is to go back to the chorus after you hold that scream for that long. And again, this is live and she's holding it. Well, people could speculate when they first recorded the thing, even though this is, I think, the same day that as they released it, that, oh, how can she do the whole thing live? But she's doing it. That's great. Also, important to point out, because I've seen some people talking about that when they first announced Emily as lead singer for Linkin Park, is that during that first show, she wasn't that comfortable on stage, and of course, you have a lot of anxiety related to be on stage with Linkin Park when they are coming back with the band and all of that. That's totally understandable, but now look at this. She looks extremely comfortable on stage, and that's fantastic. That's great to see. I love to feel like that on stage, and I love to see other singers feeling like that and showing that kind of sensation of being comfortable on stage and doing what they planned on doing. Alright guys, that's my analysis and discussion for Heavy is the Crown live version. Let me know what you guys want me to hear and analyze next. This was great to hear and talk to you guys as if I were talking to my students, because sometimes we do that all the time. I mean, we are in the middle of the session and then it's, oh, have you heard that song? If you want my guidance on learning and practicing all these sounds that we went through here, send me a DM and let's book a lesson. And, well, let me know what you want to hear next. Let me know what you want to learn next. Let me know what are your plans as a vocalist, as a singer. And see you next time. But remember, if your concepts cannot be seen in the real world, they must change, and not the world.